Sunday night, we are live with Brandon Sandlian.
Woohoo!
How's it going, Brandon?
Hey,
JunkYard Stude.
Good, and yourself?
We are good. Rodney?
Doing well,
Good.
doing well. We just got done watching the Chiefs, and that didn't turn out. So we'll do this live feed and get some good action going here. Thanks for joining, Brandon.
Yes, sir. And actually, I was gonna go to. I've got season tickets. I was gonna go to that game, but my kids were sick and just stars didn't align, so I ended up putting them up for sale. And it's a good thing I did because I forgot about this deal. I'd be driving down 35 on my way home doing a live feed.
There you go.
Yeah.
And they lost, so I'm glad I didn't go anyways.
Yeah, a little offside there at the end got us, it looked like.
Yeah.
Yep. Lost
Very good.
again.
Yeah. Well, hey, thanks for joining. So we're going to take some time here and just kind of visit with you about some things. And what we usually like to do is just comments coming in. We might take them as well, and just here to learn a little bit about you and your racing program. And so we'll talk about how you got started and what you've been up to and what you got planned for the future. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right. Great. So just talking through it, I think you grew up around here, maybe down south in Mulvane.
Yeah.
Right on. Went to high school. Did you have anything cool in high school, or did you drive an old truck, or what did you do?
No, just an old square body Chevy, 87 square body Chevy and pickup. It was shit brown maroon with shit brown maroon interior, so it had to go whenever I got the chance, and I wish I'd have kept it.
How old was you when you got that? How old was you?
15.
15.
So that 305 felt like a rocket ship a little bit?
Yeah, no,
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
no. All it was a gas guzzler.
Oh, yeah.
Luckily, back then, $20 would still almost fill the tank up.
Right.
Yeah.
No
Hell,
doubt.
I don't know how people drive them things around these days.
It won't even come unlatched from the pump with $20 now.
Now.
right.
Click.
It
Soon as you hit
come off.
click. Yeah, and those things are making a comeback as well. You know what I mean? They're popular now.
Oh man, I tried to find one here probably, I don't know, 3 to 4 years ago. I was really wanting one again, and I was looking for one. And I mean, to find one that's nice, they want stupid money for.
Stupid
Yep.
money. Do yours have headers on it or jacked
No,
up tires or anything crazy?
No, just an old fucking turd. My bad.
That's why it wasn't fast. It needed some headers, some flow masters, some
There
drag
you go.
lights.
Yeah. It didn't have any of the cool stuff.
The standard
man.
hot rod.
The only cool thing it had was electric windows.
There you go. So what would you consider your first hot rod? What kind of car did you have that, you went down the track with?
Actually, the first car I went down the track in was a 92 Camaro with a 350 in it, carbureted, 5-speed car. And my first pass down the track ever, it probably would have been around 2009 or so. And I went like 16 seconds or some shit.
Is that out here at
But that was
racetrack?
that. I'm sorry?
Is that out here at our racetrack out here?
No, it was at Wichita International. It was when Steve had it.
Okay, right.
Okay, right on.
I think he had it then. Hell, I don't even remember. I mean, I slept a lot since then.
Yeah.
But no, it's just an old blue Camaro that I traded an S10 for. I traded a perfectly good truck for because I wanted something cooler.
Hey,
And
your dad's
ended-
ratting you out.
Yeah.
yeah,
Your
I
dad's
can't see the chat.
That's
He
all
said
right.
you went fast enough to get 2 speeding tickets in one day.
Oh no. So that was when I was the day, I think it was like a day or a week before I turned 16 in the old square body Chevy. I got a 48 and a 35 school zone on my way home in Mulvane. And 4 hours and 5 minutes later, I got a 36 and a 20 in Udall.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Yeah.
All the small towns getting you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dad
Mr.
got-
Harper, he's watching.
I don't remember what that cost, but that's because I didn't pay for it, and Dad was still my feeding hand then.
That's why he remembers it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So
I
that
remember it
Camaro,
too.
Did you do any kind of mods to it? That Camaro that you went 16s with? Did you play with it at all?
No, nothing. I wasn't even into the racing thing then yet, to be honest. I I don't know. I wanted to go out there to the track and see what it would run for the hell of it, you know. And it was slow, but it
Yeah.
was still cool. It's cool to go down the track. And I've always been a big fan of burnouts, so I got to do a burnout,
Okay.
you know, and not have to worry about it. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I probably only made one pass with the car down the track, and then it actually ended up catching on fire under the hood because it had a
Mm.
fuel pressure regulator under the hood, and it ended up sticking open, backfired, and caught on fire. So
Wow.
it
Wow.
it went bye, and I ended up getting like a Tahoe or something, I don't know, and driving that around for a while. And then I used to drink quite a bit, so I guess we can go on into how I got into. Well, I got into racing because of my dad. Obviously,
Right
I
on.
have the love. I've got the love and the passion for the sport from him. I grew up around drag racing. It was, I mean, my mom and dad were divorced when I was in like first grade. Had to stay with my mom for a while. Then when I got the choice to where I went with pops. But even I guess where I was going, I'm kind of like a squirrel. Sorry,
It's all right.
but where I was going out with that was, you know, even when it was mom's weekend or something, if there was a race, if dad would let me go, I went. You know,
Right on.
I rode with him to Bristol, Tennessee. We went to Cordova, Illinois. I mean, I pretty much went everywhere he did back in the day. It's just I was knee high to a grasshopper, so I got to clean the car and hook up the battery charger, you know.
Nice.
But I was still at the racetrack. I got to see a lot of cool cars and
Yeah.
be in a place where a lot of kids don't get to be just because of being part of the race car, you know.
Yeah.
Most of the time though, like at Arc City, when he would go to Arc City, they used to have a big pile of dirt, and I would go down there and play on the four-wheeler, but I'd go to the end of the track when my dad did a pass instead of the starting line. And to hear the blower whine at the end of the track was pretty cool when I was a little guy. So
It's
That's
still
awesome.
cool.
It's still cool, no doubt. Was this the Chevelle?
yeah, it was the
Yeah.
Chevelle. He's got a picture. He had like I don't know, a 72 Camaro or something, 71 Camaro. We were under it working on it when I was literally knee high to a grasshopper. He's got that
Nice.
picture floating around. And then, but the car that I remember is he had a Roadster for a little bit and his Trans Am. And he
Okay.
had the
Yeah.
he had the Trans Am right before the Chevelle.
Yeah. I think I remember the Trans Am. Golly, I hate to even say it, but I want to say like 93-ish at Wichita.
Yeah.
You know, watching that thing go
I'm
down the track.
pretty,
They had these.
yeah, my bad.
Sound about right. I'm not for sure, but I just kind of remember that they'd have those quick eights, you know, shootouts. That might have been when Wayne was running it. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah. So as we were just talking with Brandon here, guys, I see some questions coming in. We'll keep them coming, and we'll talk through that as well. So if you don't see your question right away, we can see them on the side here, and as this comes along, we'll get into that. But your dad, JR, just said, yeah, about 93. So the Trans Am. Cool. So, you know, after you got your Camaro that caught on fire and everything, and you're at the racetrack, did you do any kind of street racing or anything? Or has you always been kind of at the racetrack? Or
No, the only street racing I've done.
Listen up, JR. You might find out some more info here.
No, the only street racing I've done ended up with a telephone pole in the side of my car. So
Oh,
whoa, got a little loose on you.
yeah,
Yeah, I think I
And that
saw
was-
that video there.
yeah,
We'll talk about
that was 3 weeks ago. So
Yeah.
or however
Yeah.
however many weeks ago, I don't know.
Oh, I bet
Yeah.
it's been flying by. So,
It's definitely flying by because I'm trying to get shit done.
yeah. Before this car here that, you know, everybody knows you have, the car did you have before?
That's where my drinking was coming into play earlier. So, you know, Dad actually gave me he asked me, he's like, well, do you want a dirt track race or do you want a drag race? And, you know, I really wanted a drag race because that's what I grew up around and, you know, I loved it, knew I'd have a knack for it or whatever. But my dad's was already drag racing. I was like, you know, I think I'd rather dirt track race. Well, he didn't listen. I'm not mad now, but, so I was drinking quite a bit. You know, he went and looked at a car and I was drinking quite a bit. I think he thought I was drinking a little more than I really was, but he ended up buying 70 Nova. with a 468 big block Chevy in it, Power Glide, and I think it had like 32s on it. Big tire, just a pro street car. That was my first race car, and he made the deal with me that if I quit drinking, the car was mine. If not, he'd sell it. And he called me and told me this. I was working in my garage at the time, and I talked to him later that night. I was like, "Here's the deal. I'm not gonna quit drinking. Like, we're going to Vegas for July 4th for my cousin's 21st birthday. I'm gonna get tore up. I'm gonna go to the lake. I'm gonna get tore up." I was like, "But I'll slow down." He's like, "All right." So my first pass in that car, it was like a 1030 car.
Right.
My fastest pass in the Nova, I believe, was like a 987, maybe. And I don't remember the mile an hour, to be honest.
Sure.
But it was just quarter mile bracket car. My best. It's crazy, that there's so many people that want to talk shit on bracket races, but I mean, it's fun. And for me, the high is whenever you get that really good package. Like, I cut a quadruple zero light one time and was 4th thou off my number.
Ooh.
And then, and I was new I mean, I was new to the racing. Like, I'd go out and make my test passes, and I hard dialed, like Fred Kaufman. He's a stripe driving SOB. I can't do that. I ended up getting up against Kurt Butts one time, and
Right.
there was a buddy there with me, and I told him, I was like, "I can't lift." He was like, "Why?" I was like, "Because you don't see them coming. You lift, they pass you." Guess what I did? I lifted, and he barely he got me at the stripe, and had I not lifted, I wouldn't have broke out.
Right.
But I mean, I did what I said I wasn't gonna do. And then I believe it was, I don't know. Dad's got the trophy at his house, actually, still. It was, I don't remember what race it was, but I ended up in the finals with Kyle Lane,
Okay.
and he ended up dumping his chutes early, and I ended up getting around him right at the last second, and that's the one win I got with the Nova. But
Cool.
it was pretty cool. And then I popped the motor in that, and it's not that I didn't want to get it fixed. I just, I was living life at the same time, and picked up some other hobbies. I started boxing, training for boxing, and that was fun while it lasted, until my back told me I couldn't do it, and
Mm.
just picked up a bunch of other stuff and never really got another motor built for it. And then Dad is a internet searching SOB, and he found the Studebaker,
Okay.
and he told me about it. Well, actually, how he broke it to me was because my car was sitting at his house at that time, because I ended up moving out of my house in Mulvane and moved up closer to work and had a smaller garage, blah blah blah. But so how he broke the news to me was, he's like, "Come here, I want to talk to you." I was like, "Oh, great," because he drove back in his truck, and I got in the truck, and I was like, "Great, what now?" And he's like, Larry, his next door neighbor, he's like, Larry Austin wants to buy your Nova, and I told him he could buy it. I'm like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "But," he goes, "I figured if we sold it, we could buy us a good car, and we can go racing." And I was like, "All right, cool," and then it
What
was
year
kind
and
of,
time frame was this?
what year?
Yeah, what
Yeah,
year roughly?
6 years ago.
Okay.
I don't.
Um, the Nova was probably, I didn't even race my Nova for probably 4 years before
Mm.
we got the student. I was actually on my honeymoon with my wife, and I'm pretty sure how it happened was Dad sent me pictures of it in his shop and said, "Your honeymoon present arrived," or something like that. I don't remember. So now, I'm on my honeymoon, and all I can think about is getting back and sitting in this thing.
Oh, that's funny.
Unfortunately, Dad and I are like two bulls in a china cabinet. Like, we don't. I don't know how to word that at work, but we're literally two bulls in a china cabinet. We can't do anything together that could have a difference in opinion, or
Mm.
a difference in how one of us wants to get it done, because I want it my way and he wants it his way, so we just butt heads constantly,
Yeah.
which I very unhappy about, because the love and the passion I have for the sport is ultimately from my pops.
Sure.
But we just can't do it together. It's so, I mean, we can, but we can't. Like, we can't be a team per se, because we will just butt heads, because I want to do it my way, he wants to do it his, but it just doesn't work,
Sure.
which it really does suck. But when he's there, he still comes, and he tries to come to as many races as possible and support me. And I mean, when he's there, he does what he can. If I need something, he'll do it in a heartbeat for sure.
Oh yeah.
But so I didn't race my Nova. I went from a 10-second quarter mile car to the JunkYard Stude.
Mm.
And my first full pull in that car was a 433.
Holy cow.
The first, 2 or 3 passes, it was going right quite a bit. And then we ended up getting on the phone with a guy and scaled the car and made some adjustments, and it was a little better. But
Right.
where it really turned around for us was we went to Ozark for a race, and Jason Lansdowne actually come over, because he wasn't there racing, he was watching.
Sure.
But he noticed the car was kept moving around, and he's like, did you measure your rollout yet? I'm like, no. So we measured the tires, sure as shit, swapped the tire sides, it went right down Broadway.
Oh wow.
That was a big game changer. I ended up getting a 4. I think we were at Kidd or Wichita International is what it was then, with Dad. And we ended up popping the motor, chunked a rod out of the side. Actually, it didn't come out the side. I think it barely got the oil pan rail, and went to order parts for it. Keith Black was out of business. Had to order sleeves through Darton. It took 16 weeks to get sleeves. When we got the sleeves, the reliefs weren't cut out, so then we had to wait on that. Needless to say, I didn't race the whole next year. In the meantime, Dad picked up a new hobby. He started riding motorcycles, which is cool. He really enjoys it. I think. I mean, he's enjoying life right now, and I'm very happy for him. I really am. But ended up getting a killer deal from Palmer on intake to pan motor and a short block. They're the same blocks, except for one is a light block and one's just a billet block. So one's like 20 pounds lighter or so.
Okay.
But got a killer deal on it. When I first got the car, it had a 1471 on it, and it had most people probably haven't even heard of it. It had a torque converter drive unit that wasn't made for 3,000 horsepower. Or 2,000 even. It had what they call a torque link. I think that's one of the first units they came out with. When we dynoed it at Wichita Dyno, it only made like 1,500 or 1,800 of the wheels, but there was so much slippage through the converter and the transmission that it was ridiculous,
Yeah.
So when we got the new blocks from Palmer, I ended up getting a screw blower, ended up getting a Linko drive. Brandon Lewis helped me out a lot. So at this point, Dad was kind of like, I'm just going to let this kind of be your deal. I'm going to step back and you do your thing. We'll see what happens, more or less,
Right.
Again, the squirrel thing, Chad was there for my very first pass I ever made in that car, but it was because I ordered a helmet through Holzman and I didn't have time to go pick it up. And then, so he brought it out to the track, but he was also testing its kids juniors. So it kind of worked out.
Okay.
So he was just there to give me a helmet, but he watched me make my first pass in my car.
Right on.
We'll add to that later.
Okay.
So Dad said, I'm gonna let this be your deal, blah blah blah. I'm like, great. So now I couldn't even adjust valves. We'll say, I want to say it was 4 years ago.
Right.
I'm bad at time frames. There was literally, I had it written on the wall how to adjust the valves, and I turned the motor over, and then I'd have to look at the wall and be like, I'd have to do it all over again. I mean, it took an hour to adjust valves. I can do it in like 5 minutes with my eyes closed now.
Right.
I mean, I couldn't build my own motor, my own tranny, nothing. And I build my own motor now, build my own tranny or service it, So get the car together. Brandon Lewis helped me out tremendously because, again, and Dad was a little in left field with the car too, as far as the electronics and stuff go, because the technology on my car is way different than his was 25 years ago. But we made it work until it blew the motor. But so Lewis helped me out a lot. I got a lot of his. He sold his 57 that he had, and all of his spare parts that he still had, I was able to buy from him at a killer deal. So that helped me out. He helped me get the car wired, get everything set up, and kind of show me the ropes. And there's one thing that he told me that I'm not going to share with everybody, but how I drive my car, how I sit in my car is because of Brandon Lewis, and it's very beneficial. That's the
Cool.
one amazing thing that I got from him. So he kind of showed me the ropes, and then I had to find my own people to help me. And my first race by myself, no help, except for I had a friend, I believe it was Mike Morrissey and somebody else, but I don't remember. Sorry, guys, if you're watching, we qualified number 1 out here at Wichita, but we broke a valve spring. And then, there were some people there that wanted to talk shit and be like, oh, wow, you qualified number 1 at a 420. Well, where's your car at?
Right.
Well, they don't have walls. We don't, blah, blah. Anyways, we won't get into that. So regardless of the number it ran, we were fucking number 1.
Sure.
But I broke a valve spring. And Chad happened to walk by, and this is where my life changed. And I say life, not just racing, because Chad is like a brother to me, and the rest of his family, we're all family. It's amazing. But Chad walked by, and he asked me, he's like, how's it going? I'm like, oh, we qualified number 1, but I'm done. I broke a valve spring. He kind of looked at me. He's like, no, you're not. We had sockets, pry bars, wrenches, you name it. If we could fit it on the keeper, we were trying to get that valve spring off.
Oh,
Tried
wow.
everything. Tried it because I now have a tool for that, but I didn't
Sure.
then. He and I, we was trying everything we could do to get that valve spring off. Didn't happen, So I said, well, I was like, what are you doing next weekend? He's like, I don't know why. I was like, I want to go to Street Machine Nationals, but I'd like your help. He's like, yeah, I can probably do that.
Cool.
To this day, Street Machines Nationals was our first race together. We won the event, and to this day, it is the most work we've ever had to do to the car in between rounds. We had the blower off my car, and I didn't have blower bars then either, which is a game changer. But we had the blower off the car 5 times in between, I believe it was last round of qualifying and first round of eliminations.
Dang.
But that's when me and Chad knew that we were meant to do this together, because he has no give up, nor do I. But the first time we was putting the car back together, we were almost done, and Chad was like, he's like, take a break. You can slow down a little bit. We're on the downhill side. I was like, nope, 100 till it's on the ground. And finished getting it ready, started pissing oil out of the back of the intake. I was like, I guess we're done. I was like, we're done. And Chad was like, no, we're not. Once again. So, we had the blower on and off. And that's really, I tapped the wall. There was somebody that had questioned, there was a bunch of couch racers and shit talkers on this accident that I had in H-Town, and they can all say what they want to say. I don't really give it 2 shits. I made my live, and said that if I'm in the same situation again, I'm going to do the same thing as me being in the driver's seat, because it's what I do. It's just hopefully next time it goes straight, not right. But the only, I gave a little love tap to the wall at Kid one time, but at this Street Machines race that me and Chad went to, I had an oil, my overflow or my puke tanks kept filling up. So it was pissing oil all over the place. Well, I was steering the car right to go straight down the track. And after the stripe, when I lifted, you guys both race, that when you're on the skinny pedal, it has a whole lot less steering. But as soon as you let off, if your wheels turned, it's gonna go where your wheels pointed. Well,
Right.
I was steering right and going straight. When I lifted, it went right. My header tapped the wall and it pancaked the quarter.
Mm.
And we get it back to the pits, and we get the valve covers off, and Chad's looking at the cord, and he's like, well, are we done? Or I'm like, can you fix it? He's like, yeah. I was like, we ain't fucking done then. Let's go.
Let's go.
He yanks the tire off of it, and he's down there beating the quarter out with a dead blow or a sledgehammer, and there's Bondo flying everywhere. And I mean, we went 2 or 3 more rounds after that and won the event. It was amazing.
Oh, that's awesome.
But that's where Chad and I started for sure, and I'm very grateful for him and his family. So
Yeah.
I just see on the feed right now, Chad Holzman's watching. I just saw it come across my phone. He's watching right now.
Yeah, he knows
I'm
he's
glad-
the man.
Oh, he is the man. And I'm glad that I was going to ask that question. Like, how do you and Chad get hooked up? Because I've sat and watch you guys from a distance, work on the car and that sort of thing when I'm at Arc City. And, since we run at different times, I can see you go down, and the excitement that I see from Chad behind you when you let go of the button and he's just cheering you on, kind of running down the track, if you will. And when you get the wind light, he's just, fist in the air.
Oh,
I've
I've caught it a few different times when people are recording, and I've told them, I'm like, listen, you have to start getting his reaction, because that's fucking awesome, And my wife even said, she's like, I just don't see. She's like, I don't get how he gets so excited or so into it when he's not driving the car, because he also has a car. He's driven a car of that caliber.
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't get it, And
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
lucky, grateful, whatever you want to call it, that
Right.
he's by my side.
100%. And to your point, what you just said, like, he could go do his own thing, with his own car and that sort of thing. But like, just being teamed up with you makes you both better, and you can see it. You guys are definitely got a 1-2 punch there. Definitely. Because we all know, me and Gary Race and everybody on here, it takes a village, it takes a team. And that whole like, hey, are we done? Because there've probably been times that, if you didn't have each other to kind of pump yourself up in the pit, you maybe would have threw in the towel or whatever. No, we're keeping going here and that sort of thing. And I know we're getting ready to talk about it in a little bit, but I know you guys are burning the midnight oil right now too.
We don't even own a towel in our pit.
There you go.
There ain't no fucking towel to throw in ever.
Craven says Chad's the real deal, a freaking stud.
Oh man,
That's
bad
right.
team. Yeah, that's exactly right.
It's like, I mean, and he's been there pretty much. Yes, the first year out with this car, my pops was behind me, beside me, with me. But then there was the year gap there. Chad has literally been there since. I pretty much call it day one, and there's a routine. I'm sure you guys as well know, but there comes a time, whether it be when we're getting in the car and the staging lanes, this or that, there's a routine. And if that routine got broke, I just don't think my mind would be right.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yep.
I get it. So I know, like, just thinking through this, you have the track record at Arc City. I think I was there that day. I'm not very good at the numbers, but I think you went in the 80s. But I think, is that the track record? Do you know what it is?
385 and 100, 385 and 197.
Ooh, that's flying. That is just absolutely flying. Take me through that day.
Right. Actually, that pass was the most effortless pass I've ever made in my car. Maybe not the most effortless, but it's up there. It's crazy. Whenever everything goes right, it's like, I thought I was taking grandma to the grocery store to get her medicine or something,
Right.
But then we can go out there and go a 430 and it feels like I lit the world on fire.
Yeah.
But it was a 430.
Right. So when you came that day, did you plan to run and, set the track record and go 380s? What was your goal for that?
Well, so, originally I think Nancy had the track record at a 399, and then we reset it at a 398, which we weren't even trying at that time. And I wouldn't say that I was planning per se, but my goal for the day was indeed to go in 85. And Chad thought I was nuts to think that we could go in 85 at Arc City at Mid-America Dragway. He thought I was nuts. And I believe, I don't remember. It's actually, I have a screenshot of it, and it's on the tower there at Arc City. But I'm pretty sure we reset the record like 4 or 5 times that day.
Right on.
I think we ended up going like a 91, and then an 88, an 87, and an 85 or something like that.
It's tickling.
But yeah, it was that was awesome.
Oh, that's great. So
Cool.
how do you like racing at Ozark? I see you go over there a lot too. What's
I,
that facility like?
we like, honestly, I wanted to go to Ozark. That was the one race that we probably would have done for the rest of our career, because it was our first race together and we won it. But, racing is not all about the money. No, not by any means. But when you're racing a car of this caliber, on a good day, I would say that it costs $400 to make a pass going from A to B if nothing breaks. So you can't go to a race that they have it posted that they're going to pay $1,500 if for big tire or outlaw pro mod, whatever they want to call it. It's all the same thing. To win, I can't drive 5 hours and then we'll say do 3 qualifying passes and go 2, 3, 4 rounds for $1,500 because no, I'm not guaranteed to win. I understand that. But if I do win, it's still going to cost me $2,000 by the time I park the truck in my driveway.
Yep.
It just doesn't make sense. So no, and there's still some races that we go to, even though the payout isn't that great. It just depends on the travel time, or if we need data, or if we just need some loud pedal therapy. It depends.
Yeah.
But no, their facility is really nice. Craven seems to be trying to turn the place around for the better. I don't know that it needed turned around per se, but he's trying to keep it scheduled, keep it busy, and it's a nice track. I like it. Personally, I've become more when I first started racing the car. I didn't want to do no prep. There was a lot of people saying, "Hey, man, you need a no prep. You got the car for it." No, I'm not chancing wadding this thing in a ball. Well, TV, in my opinion, TV is what has made people scared of no prep. It's just like when I went to the street. We went to the street, and I the car didn't do what it was supposed to do, and well, the telephone pole got me. Well, it's not about if you have too much power or not. Everybody that's racing, it doesn't matter whether it's an LS with turbos, a Pro whatever, nitrous, a blower car, you're always trying to put as much power as you can down to the surface that you're given. Unfortunately, at the last race, we had a little too much power.
Yeah.
Too much cowbell.
Yeah, a little too much cowbell.
Right.
But to me, I went there because to me, TV has messed up no prep racing on a track. I think I've seen more people wad their car in a ball or get in wrecks, accidents on a prep surface than a no prep. It's just that. It might just be my opinion. Might just be because I'm biased. I don't really know. I don't think I'm really biased. I'll race prep or no prep.
Sure.
I just like no prep because around here, you guys know as well as I do that there's no cars. You can't. You can put up a. When Kid was open, hell, I think he did a $5,000 or $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 big tire pro mod race, and 5 cars show up, 4 cars show up.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Is it? Again, it's not all about the money. When I go, I want to go rounds. I don't want to just go and go 2 rounds and take a check for $5,000. I like putting on a show. The burnouts that I do, they're for me. I would say they're for the fans too, but honestly, they're for me. Because I love my burnouts. And there's times if my burnout gets shorter, it's because there's still a lot of heat somewhere, or I know that it's possibly hurt, but if everything's good to go, I'm doing my burnout, and there's times when I ask Chad, I'm like, do you think I'd have shortened the burnout up? He goes, you're going to do what you're going to do anyway. So just do you. Do whatever your brain and your foot tells you to do. I was like, all right.
You're just being polite. What do you think, Chad?
Actually, what he thinks, he said it best. There's some people that do the really short burnout, and everybody has their own deal, but there's some people that are like, oh, I don't want to do a burnout that long because I don't want it to blow up. Listen, if it's gonna blow up doing your burnout, it's gonna fucking blow up when you make your pass, whether you do a long burnout or short one.
Right.
So it doesn't really matter.
Right.
When it's up, it's up.
There you go. So Gary, I know some questions are starting to come in, so we'll get to those and start looking that way. But Brandon, real quick, like tell me about either two things: your favorite track you like going to, and then also like tell me your story about your favorite, most memorable race that you went to.
Oh, well, I done told you the most. There's two memorable races. I would say the one is I done told you it's Street Machines, because that's where me and Chad started. To this day, it's the most work we've done to the car in between every round, and we won it. And it was our first race. It's where family started. It's surreal, to be honest. The next one would be the first Builders Brawl. You know, I didn't even think I'd get qualified for that thing, because I just told you guys earlier, 5 years ago, I couldn't adjust my valves.
Right.
You know, but I ended up popping a motor. It was my fourth pass. And again, I'm a showman, I guess, or whatever. I've always said, you know, we'll get back to that. Squirrel. Sorry.
You're good.
The second one would be Builders Brawl, because I didn't think I'd be able to get there. But you know, I did the submission. I've put in the time and the effort and what it takes to qualify as a builder, and I got approved. And we went there, we showed up, and we showed out. You know, and winning that race actually gave me the biggest natural high I've ever had in my life. I mean, I got chills again.
Right.
Every time I tell the story, I get chills.
What is some of the criteria for the Builders Brawl? No, you've won 2 or 3 of those, haven't you?
2, should have been 3, but the last one, my blower came off. So Sean Wilhoit got invited to that deal, and he ended up winning it. He won first round against us because my blower came off.
What's got the format and criteria for that Builders Brawl?
You would think that since I've won 2 of them, I could be a better spokesperson for it. But buildersbrawlracing.com, I believe, is the website. But you have to be able to build your entire car. More like if you can build your chassis, you qualify as a builder. You have to be able to build your own motor, starting from a bare block with sleeves and cam bearings. Wow. You have to be able to build it by yourself and get it running by yourself. Obviously, you can have somebody help you put it in the car, or, you know, lift heavy things, but you personally have to be able to get it in the car running, set the mag, in my case, you know, time it, phase it, degree it, all that good stuff. That would qualify you. And I don't remember the third one.
How do they know you can or cannot do that?
They can't.
Okay.
I mean,
I
would say that. So he has a panel of 5 people that are undisclosed that review your submission. You have to turn in a submission to qualify as a builder. In doing so, you got to make a short video, and you just write out what you've done to your car. And then if at any given time somebody at the Builders Brawl thinks that we'll call it fraudulent, thinks that you're not a builder, they can challenge you. And I believe it's like $200 or something.
Okay.
But then if you can prove to them that you do the work or whatever, they lose their $200.
Oh, wow.
Which to me, in a car, I told Joe, I was like, I mean, if somebody has a mag and I don't think they built their own shit, I would challenge them, but I'm gonna go over, take their mag out, turn their motor over, and then tell them to get it to start.
There you go.
Because I mean, you know, that part's pretty challenging. I mean, if you're, you know, a Hemi's counterclockwise, so if you have the mag, if you have number 1 on the wrong side of the firing order, guess what? It doesn't matter how many fucking wires you chase or how many electrical parts you change. It's not gonna fire if it's on the wrong side of one.
Sure.
You can look at it as many times as you want, and it's like, yeah, that's right, but no, it's not. It's on the wrong side.
Right on.
I've been there. That's how I know that.
Yeah.
this comment by Chad probably goes with that. Then you need to show them that you don't just write checks to go race.
That's for the builders brawl.
Got
Right
it.
on. And I think they got a small tire class, Gary.
Yeah, they got small. They got small tire, big tire. They've got a rung what you brung 450, and then they call it a high five class, which they draw for that. It could be a 540, 550, 560, 580, or something like that. They draw for that Friday at the races to see what index that'll be.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Craven says you also have to shift the car yourself.
And there's a lot of people that whine about that, and I don't get it. You know, to me, I mean, I've always shifted my own car.
Right.
You know, and in the studio, what Chad and I do with the car, what adds to what we do to that is the traction control is my right foot and my brain.
Yeah.
I shift the car, and we don't have shock sensors. The only electrical thing we have that helps us is fuel timers and a grid for timing. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
You know, I mean, it's him standing behind the car, seeing what it's doing, me knowing what the car's, you know, if it goes out there and it paddles the tires a little bit, but he can't see it, I got to know where it did that at, which the graph will kind of show you sometimes too, unless it's not that bad, you know, but it's me and him tuning the car. That's it. It's not a bunch of gibberish or phone calls to 50 people trying to figure out what we need to do.
Right on. So who came up with the name for the car and the patina and that sort of thing? How did that evolve?
I liked the wrap because it was black and silver when we got it. But then after we pancaked the wall at that first race that I was talking about, I liked the patina deal, and I didn't want to paint it because I could paint it myself, but then I'm gonna get mad every time it gets scratched or dinged. Or the best part about the wrap that I chose, it has so many, well, now it doesn't matter at all, but it has so many scratches, dings, and just nonsense that's done to it that if it was a nice red shiny car, it would have to be repainted every race.
Right.
Yeah.
But I liked the wrap, full tilt wraps in Tulsa. I don't think he works there anymore, but Jonas is the one that came up with the design. I mean, it took a lot of trial and error of sending me stuff and me saying yes or no, but I wanted to do the orange because the inside of the car already had orange accents in it, so I wanted to do orange, and because most of the patina you see is blue or green.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to keep the green the orange incorporated in it.
Is the wrap going to be the same again, or is it going to change it up just a little bit? Or
everything about that car is going to be the same. It's going to look like I never wrecked it.
Cool.
There you go.
I say everything. It's going to have minor changes. I mean, you know, the pecker in the front's going to be different because there's a lot of things we've wanted to do different and or upgrade, but haven't because of time or what it takes to do what we wanted to do. But now that we're at square one, it's getting everything that we've ever thought we wanted to do. But I'll probably put actual headlights in it and headlight rings instead of the fog lights and the headlight buckets there. But for the most part, it's going to be the same exact car.
So who thought of the name?
Dad and I came up with the name, I'm pretty sure. And my wife, I'm sure, helped too, to be honest. I don't really know. And Chad, I mean, everybody that's part of the race car, to be honest.
It fits.
I liked the reason, and it was JunkYard Stude even before the wrap, but the wrap just intensifies it. It helps it out. But I wanted something to do with the salvage yard. You know, the one and only sponsor that I've got is Pops and I's Yard, Sand on Iron and Metal, and it's a junkyard. You know, it's a salvage yard, junkyard. And it went with it. It's the JunkYard Stude.
You know, being you're calling it a slow big tire thingamajig, pro modish or whatever. I don't know much about how a big tire car like that is built. I seen that you found a donor skin here just recently on your Stude page. A car like that, can you put a different skin on it, or the way it's built, it has to have a Stude body back on it? Or did you ever think of putting a different body on it?
The only way that you would be able to put a different body on it is for it to have the same roof line. Otherwise, your windshield pillar bars, your chassis bars for the pillar are going to be in an odd spot.
Gotcha.
If I was to do something different, I would, which originally a bunch of the no prep stuff, you had to be steel roof, steel quarters. So I wanted to stick to that. And I personally I bought a 55 wagon from my Uncle Rex before he had passed away. And I would like to put that on there. And I would do the same. But I mean, it wouldn't be the Junkyard Stude then. I mean, I like the Studebaker because you can go to, no pun intended, guys on top there, but you can go to a racetrack every weekend and see 5,000 Fox bodies.
Belly buttons and assholes.
Right. Or another 500 Camaros, you know, it's just, there's not a lot of them. So it's the oddball out per se. And I like that.
Oh yeah.
I guess unique maybe could be the word, because there's not a lot of them.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and that's just it. And everybody, when you say the name, everybody knows who we're talking about. You know, the Junkyard Stude. I mean, they know Gar and they know Brandon and Chad.
Where did you find the donor skin?
In Wichita, actually. A fella messaged me. I have one at the yard, actually. I had bought one about 4 years ago just because it came across Marketplace, but it is a hardtop car instead of a post car, so it doesn't have the quarter post window in it. Or the post for the quarter window. So that one wouldn't work. And a guy messaged me on the Stude page and said, I know where a couple of those bodies are at in Wichita, and sent me the name and number. I believe it was Steve Baker that sent them to me.
Okay.
And but not Steve and what's his name? Brain fart. Anyways, so I called the guy and asked him, I was like, hey, I heard you had a couple cars. And he's like, yeah. And I was actually sick when I went over and seen him. But I mean, time is of the essence right now. So I went over there. I went over there after work. Yes, I was at work sick too. I do that because, well, money doesn't sleep. But went over there and looked at him. And honestly, he pretty well gave me the car. I mean, I gave him $250 for it. I was super happy.
Right on.
So that worked out nice. If not, I'd still be on the hunt. But I think Jamin Hogue could have hooked me up a little bit because he has a couple of bodies. So I would have been calling him if I didn't find something for sure. But the whole rebuild thing is, you know, Chad's like, it's not that bad. Chad's done it a lot. I've never done it. You know, I can do body work and paint. I can stretch the quarters, chop the top, do all that stuff. But I've never, looking at the car in my shop right now, it's like, how is this going to turn into what's behind me on the screen here? This is crazy. Like, to me, we don't have enough time. And Chad's like, oh, there's plenty of time. Quit worrying about it. You know, now I'm at the point where I told him, you know, he was like, oh, well, I won't be able to ready for the chassis until, you know, I was like, listen, I don't care if I'm waiting on you. And he goes, honestly, the chassis won't take that long. I was like, see, that's what I was afraid you were going to say. I was like, I'm fine with waiting on you. I don't want you to call me and be like, hey, I'm ready for the body. And I'm like,
Yeah. Well, let me stop you real quick. Let's actually go to that day, your last race, and let's start at the very beginning, you know, where you came in the gate, and lead us to the whole way through it.
We'll back up to the first one. We went to H-Town earlier this year, and to say that we have too much power for the street, you don't know what you're talking about, because we absolutely took way too much power out. There's a video out there. I believe Draglands has a good one. And we both left at the same time, but the car didn't squat. The tire didn't wrinkle. It just, I think Chad could have walked by me and been like, what are you doing? But I'm waiting for the car to move, because we'd had so much power out of it, you know. And then we went to this one, And I was feeling pretty confident because, we knew what was not enough power for sure, but now we got to tickle it and see what we can do. The first pass, I didn't know it was smoking the tires till probably 400 foot because all of a sudden the inside of my car was like I was doing a fucking burnout again. I was like, oh, I better lift. And and I mean, it was filled with smoke. And when I got to the end of the track, it takes forever there for the starting line to get down there to get me. So I texted my dad because I knew he was watching on live. I was like, did I win? He's like, yes, great job. I was like, sweet. So at that point we knew we still, and it took the hit. I mean, we looked at the data, watched the video that we took, all that good stuff, and it took the hit, and then it just started gradually smoking the tires. It was still gutless enough that I didn't know it was smoking the tires because it's not like I was banging the rev limiter or anything,
Right.
It just had a smidge too much power, so it was just smoking the tires. But the car didn't let me know that it was smoking the tires until I saw smoke cover, filling the inside of the car again like I was doing a burnout. And so we took power out of it, and then it was a little bit later and whatnot. Whenever we made our second pass, and I don't know. It didn't go our way.
Sure.
And I've watched the video 1,000 times because, like I said, if I'm given or in the same situation, same scenario again, me as the driver, I'm gonna do the same thing. There's a lot of people saying, "Oh, the race was lost at the tree." Yes and no. It lit the tires up right off the hit, and we took power from it even, and it took the hit the first time. It lit them up right off the hit. I let out. I gradually got back in the throttle because, well, it's not a track. I know I couldn't stab it. It wouldn't take it.
Yeah.
I was gradually back into the throttle. I knew he was driving away from me, and I pretty well knew the race was over. But I seen him get out of shape, and it made my right foot go to the floor.
Yeah.
That told me we still had a chance at winning because I didn't know what he was going to. At that point, I saw that happen, but then whatever he did after that was irrelevant. I didn't see any of it.
Sure.
Part of it probably because, well, I went right for a fire truck. But watching the video, the tires were doing the same thing in that pass that they did the first pass. They were already smoking the tires before I stabbed it. But again, I didn't know that. It was going straight.
Yeah.
He got out of shape, said we got a chance. I did what I do 10 out of 10 times, and we'll still do 10 out of 10 times. The race isn't over until somebody crosses that line, and nobody was crossed that line whenever I stabbed my throttle.
There you go.
Yep, you're a racer and you want to win.
It took it literally, I mean, as soon as I stabbed it, it took a right. I lifted, I got on my brakes, but I mean, once it hit the curb, there was nothing I could do.
Right.
I told everybody that night, and maybe even on my live, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that I closed my eyes as soon as I went over the curb because I was headed straight for a fire truck. And there was nothing I could do. There was absolutely nothing I could do about it. I might have turned the wheel. I might have not have. I'm telling you, that was a whole lot happening real quick.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I would say I did turn the wheel just because, but did it do any good? I don't think so. I reckon the reason it ended up turning was just because of whatever broke caused it to go that way. But I closed my eyes and I did not open my eyes until I was done moving. And there was one of my crew guys, my best man actually was probably 10 to 20 feet away from me. And I asked him, I was like, did I get knocked out or anything? Because I mean, you don't know if you get knocked out.
I'm not laughing at you. My wife is ducking down and going behind you. I don't know if you caught that.
I said, did I get knocked out or anything? He was like, no. He was like, as soon as you landed, I was like, Beach. And I stuck my thumb out the window. I was like, that's great.
Yeah.
I've
seen the video where it looked like you flipped 3 times.
I've watched it a few times in slow-mo. I think it was I think it was just twice.
Okay.
I mean, regardless, it was too many times, whether it was 5 or 1. But
exactly.
the telephone pole is what did the damage.
Right.
And I would say, I don't know what I really dislike or am sorry for is the fact that he had to cancel the rest of his event because of my mistake.
Sure.
Or because of it was obviously a mistake. Something didn't go right. But I wouldn't consider it a mistake. Just my decision, I guess, is the decision that I made forced him to cancel his race, and I've apologized time and time, and I'll apologize again. I'm still sorry for that.
Right.
Whether it be me or somebody else, I don't. There's a lot of people that put a lot of time, effort, money, and sacrifices into going to all the races that we go to, whether it's on the street, track, wherever, and those guys, the sacrifices, hard work, and effort that they put in got thrown out because of my decision to try to win a round.
Yeah, I get it. I saw a interview.
But 10 out of 10 times, I'm gonna do the same thing.
Yep.
Sure. I saw an interview, like the smoke hadn't settled yet, and the guy came up to you and asked if you're okay and everything. He had a camera with him. I don't know which production he was with. But
I think it was. Go ahead.
It looked like to me you were already in "we're gonna fix it" mode. You know what I mean? It's like the thing hadn't cooled off in the dirt.
I think I was in "we're gonna fix this thing" mode before I even landed.
I think so, because it's like, oh yeah, just 2 bars, and it was almost like you were going to say, I'll be out for the next round, I'm ready, and it was just you had a lot of energy. It's like, we're fixing it, this is no problem.
There was a lot of natural drugs going through my body after that.
Sure.
So I was, and honestly, I mean, I wasn't. My elbow hurt, and it's not really my elbow; it's more my tricep that hit the funny car cage. But I mean, I wasn't sore, and then we loaded up and I drove home 5 hours that night, and Chad had to work. So we was driving home no matter what. He had to work on Sunday, and he was like, I was like, you can go to sleep. He's like, no. He's like, I know how this stuff works. I got to make sure that you're not just going to you're going to pass out driving down the road or something,
Right.
But I was good. And I mean, I felt fine the next day, and even the next day. I mean, nothing was ever bad other than, where my ankle, the things I've said on my live feed, my ankle hit the door bar, I guess it'd be my thigh, hit the double rail, and my elbow. Other than that, I never had any bruising or anything.
That's good. Tight.
Yeah.
I mean, belt's tight.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it's luck or whatever you want to call it. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'm glad I got whatever I got, because I'm very lucky. Chad puts me in the car, and he puts me in there the way I'm supposed to be in there. He don't fuck around. I don't fuck around. My belt, he can't get my belts any tighter when he does his part, and when I do my part, it doesn't get any tighter either.
I was going to bring that up in after your crash. A guy was interviewing you, and you said, and he was surprised that you wasn't really hurt, other than what you just said. Your tricep, or whatever, your elbow, and I think you said in that interview, my belts can't get any tighter, and that's pretty important, and everybody needs to hear that.
Absolutely.
It is. And I mean, and I'm not, I mean, maybe everything just got hit and rolled the right way. I mean, luck is a factor in our lives, by all means. But, I've watched videos or seen videos of people getting in, to me, what looks like a way less violent wreck, that have broken ribs and broken collarbones or this or that. And it's like, how? I mean, you fucking barely tapped the wall, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got 3 broken ribs and broken arm.
But I mean, who knows? I mean, again, luck is a factor, whatever it may be, whether it be because my safety equipment that I have in the car and did its job, or luck, whatever it is, I'll take it.
Take it in a minute. So what happened the next day? You're looking it over, you got it in the shop, and the plan starts forming, right?
No, well, the plan was already swarming on the way home. Chad was already thinking about what he needed to do, how to do it, where to do this, where to do that, and how to get shit done. And I knew I had that body already, but I had forgot it was a hard top, not a post. Or a coupe. So I knew I was going to be on the look for that. But the next day, I don't even remember how late I slept, to be honest, but I woke up and started unloading the trailer, getting everything out of the way, because there's all kinds of shit in the way of the car every time first, and then you unload the car. I got everything out of the way, and then I was scratching my head like, well, how am I going to get this thing out of the trailer? And I was like, shit. I live about 10 minutes from my salvage, so I drove it to the salvage, got the rollback out, sucked it out of the trailer, drove it home, put it in the shop, went back, got the truck and trailer, and come back home.
There you
And was looking at it then, and was like, man, I don't know, don't know what to do here. And ultimately, we needed the body off so Chad could just visually see everything he wanted or needed to see on the chassis to make a decision as to whether he could fix the chassis or not. And Monday night, I got the body off, drug it out in the driveway, and called him, and he ended up coming over, and he looked at it, and he goes, I can fix it, and Dad's been on the hunt for another car, and he found a car just in case we couldn't fix the Stude, and Chad was like, I mean,
there you go.
I can fix it, you can fix it, we can fix it. He says, you just got to decide whether you want to put that work in or just buy another car. And I'm like, and I'm like, and then he was explaining some stuff to me. He's like, he was like, if this is something that's on your mind, he goes, just for reassurance or whatever, he goes, if you're worried about the strength of it, he goes, it will be just as strong, if not stronger, when I'm done with it than it is right now. And I was like, all right, and I asked him last week because neither one of us can remember. There was a bunch of questions back and forth and him hauling around, to be honest, because by all means, buying a car, I put my motor tranny rear end in it and I could go racing next weekend.
Yeah.
It's like, man, that's real intriguing. But you know what? I'm hard headed. My work ethic is something nobody will ever outdo or take away from me. And if they do outdo me, I'm going to figure out how not to let that happen twice. It's a bone I got, and I really wish I didn't have it most days, but I got it. And
what was that other car? What was
I
it?
don't.
Do you want to say?
It was still a Studebaker.
Oh, another Studebaker. Okay.
Yeah. But now everybody don't be messaging my dad asking him. We don't, just it's on the back burner.
Where is it?
Anyhow,
I want to buy it. Where is it?
Craven Moore will be the one asking. He wants a Studebaker to make a small tire car, which we was gonna do small tires on the Stude, but honestly, we don't have time for it. I want to do it because 1, the challenge, 2, I think me and Chad can make it work.
Sure.
And 3, you can go to a big money payout race every weekend if you have small tires. Yeah. I went to 3 races last year that we were the only run what you brung or big tire car that was there, and traveled anywhere from 4 to 8 hours away to do so. So anyways, back to the car.
Sometimes them small tire cars, they'll jump in the big tire class.
Yeah. But anyhow, back to the car thing. So there was a bunch of questions back and forth. And I looked at him, I was like, all right, one more question. Neither one of us can remember what that question was, and it sucks because it was the deal breaker. I said one more question. I asked him. He answered me, and I said, done. We're fixing it. End of story. Where do we start?
Right on.
And, now I gutted the chassis the following couple of days, got it media blasted, and now I was fortunate or lucky enough that Rob Holzman likes me enough and likes the son enough that he has a jig that we're going to be able to use in Chad's shop for the chassis. So we got the chassis jig situated out, and as soon as Chad's ready, we're ready. He's got a lot of life things going on right now. I'd like to congratulate Jenna Holzman. She graduated college this weekend. So we had that going on. She's part of the badassery team now.
Right on.
Congrats.
So congratulations to her. But he's got that going on, and he is super busy at his work. So
Yeah.
But yeah, and I've got one quarter panel for the car, and I believe guy by the name of Michael, thanks to Tony, is getting me hooked up with getting the quarter panel from Canada to here.
Oh, nice. I've seen Tony Whitmore throw that out there.
Yeah, there's nobody in the United States of America has it, and they have one. Yeah. I want it. I need it.
Wow.
There you go.
There's actually I weighed them the other night. So I took the quarter off the car. I have the one factory quarter and the one aftermarket quarter, and the aftermarket quarter is almost 9 pounds lighter than the factory quarter.
Holy cow.
Wow.
Which is why I want aftermarket stuff.
Sure.
Well, I mean, in 53 they used real metal, you know?
Yeah, the thick stuff.
I mean, hell, if I wanted to do the work to replace the roof skin, if they made one of those, that'd save a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Definitely. But I'm not gonna happen. So yeah,
what's your car weight?
Now 2,800 pounds with me sitting in it with no weight.
Okay.
Man.
It's heavy.
Yeah, that is
which
heavy.
is why I mean it's perfect for the no prep stuff, you know. I can do some of the big tire, outlaw, pro mod, whatever they want to call it stuff locally, but like, you know, when it comes to Midwest Pro Mod series or races like that, I mean, I got no chance at winning. I'm not just going to go and donate. Like, you know, I mean, I've got stupid stamped on my forehead because I own a race car, but fucking isn't above it. You know, I'm just stupid. You know, but
You're
I mean,
right.
we can't hang with those guys. You know, they're limited on, you know, they got rules for overdrive and weight and this and that. I mean, I'm too heavy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm pretty sure, don't quote me, but most of those guys probably have 500 pounds on me.
Yeah.
Man.
Or I have 500 pounds on them, however you want to look at it.
Woo.
Exactly.
Heavy.
So I got a question. Switch gears for a second. I got a question. Have you know, your dad's got the Chevelle, the Bad Attitude Chevelle, got the Nitro and everything.
Yeah.
Have you ever driven that, or do you have any desire to take a lap in that?
No. No. That's all I'm gonna say.
No.
Well, you know, I guess I do. I guess he does owe me one lap, doesn't he?
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
No.
Fill in the blanks.
That's his baby, and I'll keep my baby.
There you go. No, that's
you know, the only way I would do it is if it was needed.
Right on.
I'm not. I mean, now would I want or would I make a pass in Palmer's Top Fuel dragster? Fuck yeah, sign me up. But no, you know, that's dad's gig. That's dad's deal. Dad's gig is baby, and I've got mine. And you know, if Palmer had an event lined up or something, and dad got hurt or dad couldn't drive, and he's like, "Son, I need you to drive my car," would I? In a heartbeat.
Sure.
But you know, I'm not gonna. I don't want to just joyride. No.
Right on. So
Cool.
Talked about 2024. Like, what are your plans? You got some goals for this car, you know, making it lighter, new ET personal goals or races you want to go to?
I want to go faster every time I get in the car. It just depends on the racetrack we're at as to whether or not I get to do that. As far as ET, no. I mean, you know, honestly, I guess if I was going to say we were trying to reset a record, it would have been at Arch City, and that was just because it wasn't that low. We knew it was attainable. I mean, my goal was an 85 for the weekend. Doesn't mean we were going to get there. It was just like, you know, that put me in a happy place for whatever race we had next. And we just managed to do it, you know. But most places, I mean, we got track records at, and I might be wrong on some of these. I know that we have it in Lubbock, Texas. It's a no prep clock off record. I know that we have it at Paris or Redline, whatever it's called, but I think that track closed. Maybe Odessa. I'm not sure. They have a clock on record and a clock off, so I'm not sure where we stand there. and Wichita Raceway Park. We have the record there.
Wow.
And there might be one that I'm missing, but I mean, most of those, Lubbock, we definitely weren't trying to get that record. That is a less than desirable track. Sorry if you're watching, but it's less than desirable. It's just it's bad. We weren't going for that record. We were not going for the record at Paris, but the air was negative like 900 foot. So the car made a lot more power than it needed to per se. And we set that record. We held the record at Wichita Raceway Park, and we weren't trying to do that. But now we reset the record, and we were trying to do that because it paid $5,000 to do so.
Woo!
But I
Chad
mean, most
says
of
Yellow Belly.
yes, we have the record at the Gut as well. They don't know what it is, but that's because I told them if they wanted to know that they could tell the owner he can pay me to know what his track record is. But that was just a shit deal, to be honest. No, the Gut's a fun track. The Gut's a fun track. I like it. As long as my chutes come out.
There you go.
The only damage done at that deal when that happened, when we went off the end of the track or whatever, was it broke the wheelie bar and bent a wheel. Other than that, it didn't do any body damage or nothing. But
yeah, is there a track or a race that you want to go to that you haven't yet? Do you have
War in the Woods.
War in the Woods. Okay. Yeah,
it's the track with grass in the middle of it.
It's got a median in running through it.
I like it.
Median.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah,
and it's got a narrow each lane, isn't it?
The start. If your car's going straight, it doesn't matter how narrow it is.
Right.
And if it's not going straight, well, fucking hold on and enjoy the ride. Damn it. Forgot. The Stars just having a line for us to make it to War in the Woods. That's just it's one I really want to go to because I'm an adrenaline junkie. I'm again, I got stupid up here. And it's just it looks sketch as fuck, and I want to go party. I like to party. And so does Chad. So I mean,
1-2. You guys make a great team. You guys plan on the Arc City? Any big tire races out there when they have the Heads Up series?
It just honestly, I don't know what Zolper's plan is for how many races, when or where. But to be honest, the Builders Brawl deal, that will be a series and or whatever you want to call it that I'm going to every one of those. As long as, if I'm not dead, then I'm going. That's my plan. I've got another one on my schedule. Wichita Raceway Park's having a race, but it's the weekend before Builders Brawl, and we're gonna have a new car ish. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make that. It depends on how much testing we get done and where we're at on parts count and everything else. But I mean, that's Builders Brawl 4 is the first weekend of May this year at Cordova. So that is the first one for sure that I'm going to. Gary Harper, I see your comment there. We will probably try to do that, and I think it'll even be good weather because you're gonna need to put your cold weather gear on to prep the track for me. Because I'm gonna need a lot of testing before Builders Brawl when we get the car back together, and you're gonna be the man I'm calling.
There you go. The scientists will be out there getting our track ready.
He'll be glad to hear that.
And but no, and I look forward to coming to Arc City because there is a lot of local people that love to watch me run the car. And when I'm there, they show up, and it's amazing how many people will show up just to watch me go down the track.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of people that would like to go to more races or follow the car more, but they can't between family, work, and just life in general. but when there's a local race, they're able to make it, and it's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, it just depends on scheduling and how the car's doing.
Yeah.
That
Well, Gary said, say the word and he's got you covered. So
I know. Thank you. I appreciate it.
the track record at Arc City, is that the fastest ET the car has been?
Yes.
Yep.
I've been the fastest pass I have ever been is at Arc City, 385 at 197.
Are you going to go 200 this year? Next year, 24?
One of the changes that I'm doing to the car, it's a very good possibility.
nice.
For back to Craven's comment of you have to shift your own car, I'll be shifting it twice now instead of once.
Oh, okay.
I've wanted to put a 3-speed in it for a while. Just me and Chad have literally kicked the idea around so many times. But all the data that we have that is very efficient is for a 2-speed. So we really didn't want to just switch it up. And we made changes to the car in 3 years ago. Chad did a bunch of stuff to the car, and it deemed to be very beneficial because our first pass out, we went faster than we've ever been, and it was at Arc City. Actually, it wasn't the 85, but at that point, it was the fastest we had been on a bunch of changes. But yeah, no, we've kicked around the 3-speed idea for a while, but we were going to redo the tunnel in the car this winter, even before the accident, because it is a pain in the ass to get in and out. I also just bought a drive shaft that has about 20 passes on it that is now junk because it's got a huge dent in it from the accident. So I've got to buy a drive shaft, and we're already redoing the tunnel. So I went ahead and ordered for now it's blank. We're going to come out with the same data that we've already got, usable data, but once we get the car lined out and everything's good to go with it, everything being new, I'll put a gear set and make it a 3-speed, which I think will definitely pick up our ET.
That's great.
Mr. Harper says the bumps should be gone. It will be faster.
The Stude doesn't care about bumps.
Bumps don't care.
Cool.
It doesn't. Me and Chad said it to a million people. If a fucking car goes 100 foot, it's game over from there.
It's gone.
Mm-hmm. No, that's good stuff. So you mentioned Scott Palmer earlier. Any other thing there? Like he also has the Studebaker, right? The Nitro burning Studebaker as well.
Well, he had it, but the telephone pole at Arc City took that car out.
Yeah, that's brain fart on my fault. I forgot about that.
Thankfully, he's doing well as well, and hopefully soon to be back in the seat.
Yeah. Well, I did see. I think where he's. Is that right, Gary? For the Promon deal, wasn't he? Didn't he announce that West Buck?
He's going. He's going to that deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thought I caught that. No, that's good.
That's coming
up.
No,
Scott Palmer helped me out a bunch. Scott and Rick DeCussin, I call them guys if there's an oddball question and I know Chad's at work or busy. I'll call them guys. I get so much help for information from people that's been in this game since before I was a thought, really.
Exactly.
And it's nice to have those kind of people in your corner, or know those kind of people that are willing and able to share the information that is actually helpful.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it's nice to have a little network like that.
Who else part of your team when you race besides you and Chad?
Me, Chad, and his son Corey.
Cool.
Okay. Right on.
That's it depends on that's to me it's me, Chad, and Corey. But then his wife, she's been extremely busy enjoying her life this year. She made it to a lot less races, which is cool. Not cool that she missed the races, but her between work and she makes a lot of stuff, really a bunch of cool stuff, and she's been busy with that, so she hasn't come to as many races. But his wife and my wife, they keep our bellies full, or at least they try, because me and Chad don't eat until the race is over, and then usually he eats and I'm on a liquid diet. But you know, they sell the merch whenever there's people that actually want some, which doesn't happen that often. You know, and keep the place cleaned up. And when push comes to shove, I mean, if there's a problem, they will both. I mean, even Jenna, his daughter, you know, Chad's daughter, my wife, his wife, Jenna, they will all be elbow deep in grease. They don't give a shit. They will also do whatever it needs to be done or whatever it takes to make it to the next round. And I mean, there's times that we wouldn't have done it without them there, and I'm grateful they were there. But you know, most of the time I mean, as far as servicing the car and getting it from round to round, it's me, Chad, and Corey.
Mm-hmm. That's a good team there.
It all works well. I mean, there's really, unless there's a problem, we honestly don't even have to talk to each other when we come back. We can literally get the car serviced and turned around and be sitting there waiting for the next round without saying a word. Because you know, Corey's been helping me with the car since day one too. Whenever Chad first started helping me at that Springfield race, or Ozark, Rogersville, my wife was backing me up then, but she was also pregnant. You know, and then after she had the baby the following season, Corey was my backup guy. And I mean, he was, luckily he's tall, because he was young when he started helping me, and there's a lot of places probably wouldn't have let him do what he's doing, but luckily they overlooked it because he's tall for his age, and now it doesn't matter. But but he's what he does, you know. I used to not think it was that big of a deal, to be honest, but when you have somebody step in, or like whenever I did his part when Dad made a lap in my car, what he does is very important. I mean, you know, whenever something doesn't go right, he can, if there's something that, like if Chad sees something, he can signal to Corey and Corey can fix it, but then still do his part or his job, whatever you want to call it, correctly. Where Dad couldn't get the car in neutral out of reverse, so I went over to help him, and then I was all discombobulated, and like I sprayed the injector before it cleaned it out, and you know, it was just all wonky, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, something, even if it's something little, which he does work and helps in the pit as well, but just being the front guy and being efficient and effective and knowing what you're doing up there is very important. I found that out for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Gary, how are we looking on the comments? Anything coming through? Any questions for Mr. Brandon here?
We've hit a lot of what little bit of stuff has come through, most of it. David had some comments we talked about.
Yeah.
Logan Metcalf a little while back said you guys are one bad team.
Right on.
Everybody knows you guys are a bad team.
Oh, yeah. As soon as they roll into the gate, it's game on.
Raymond Kirk, when he's talking about racing there, pedaling the car has one mini races. Screw the haters.
There you go.
You know, I mean, there's a lot of people that if they blow the tires off at the hit, they abort the whole run.
Done.
I've never done that, and I never will. Well, I can't say I've never done it. I mean, obviously, if we're at a prep race and I blow the tires off and I see the other guy, you know, at 500 foot, yeah, I'm done after that. But I mean, if I blow the tires off and I don't see the other guys, it's not over.
That's right.
I will give it everything I possibly can until I get to the stripe. It's just It's what I do.
Yeah, if anybody has a question for Brandon, toss it up and let him have it. Anybody has anything?
I'm thankful that you know, the Dad Nice company's doing great. Thanks for everybody that buys their parts from us and stuff. You know, we are unrealistically busy. It's crazy. Crazy. That's
I've got a question for you right here. Here's a question. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Jason Rank says, "Can I drive it next?"
No.
No.
There you go. There you go.
You know, no.
You don't know till you ask, right?
So, yeah. So you're just talking about like who you like to thank and that sort of thing, and you said you had Sandlin obviously on the side of the car. Anybody else you can think of you'd like to thank that helps you out, kind of get you going behind the scenes, or that sort of
as always, Chad and his family. Mick Snyder, if you guys need, what I like about Mick is he knows my combination. He knows what I got. So I can call him and say, I need this. He says, okay. I hang up the phone, and he's actually close enough that I have it the next day without next day or shipping. But I tell him what I need, or I text him what I need. He says, you got it. And it shows up at my door. But for all the local stuff, and if he's got it, Rob Holzman and Carol, them guys treat me so well over there. I get a lot of my parts through them, and some of the stuff that I order, I get through them. But if it comes to something where I may have to explain what I need or got, I call Mick or text Mick, because I don't have to, I just tell him what I need, and he knows what I need. It's a convenience thing, I guess. But Snyder Motorsports, Rob Holzman, for all you guys out there looking for any of your fuel or fluids, I personally use Warren over at Warren's Automotive. He treats me real good. Yeah, I hate this part, because when you forget somebody, you feel bad, but
sure.
I don't know. I'm my wife. She probably sacrifices the most, or puts up with the most, because there's a lot of people on the other side of the fence that don't know the amount of work that it takes to get this caliber of car ready, or service it, or just the amount of time and effort it takes is astronomical. It really is. There's so much time. I mean, I guess it almost comes to kind of a regret. I mean, I miss a lot of my kids growing up because of race car.
Right.
I mean, that's how much time it takes, and that's her having my back and being in my corner and understanding the love and passion that I have for the support is amazing to me. Because there's a lot of people that I hear a lot of people complaining the other way, that all their wife does is gripe and complain because they're always out in the shop or this or that, and my wife literally at our old house push mowed our yard so I could work on my car with our baby and a baby carrier on her belly or her back.
Dang.
Like, she mowed the yard, but still had to watch the baby while I worked on my car. At that time, it was at my dad's shop, because I didn't have the house or the shop I got now. Sure. And so, I mean, she understands it, and she's willing to give and give. I'm lucky.
Yeah, you bet. Looks like you got a fan right here. Mark, we're all looking forward to seeing you back out, Brandon. The car and your driving is incredible. So
thanks, Mark.
Cool to see right there. But every time I see you go up there to the line, I got to watch. And I'll be honest with you, I like watching your pass, but I also like watching Chad.
Yeah. Right. It is indeed a full-time job after my day job, Rank. All too well. The small tire deal, I touched on that a little bit earlier. It was a plan, to be honest. I even checked on wheels and almost ordered some. But to be honest, I would like to do more racing than I already do, but there's no time for it. Between Chad's work schedule, my work schedule, my kids and their sports, and life in general, again, there's just no more time for it. And if we do small tires, I'm going to want to do even more racing. So I'm gonna keep the old bigs on it and keep doing what we've been doing and trying to improve on what we've been doing. And maybe at some later day, I'll buy a different car and put small tires on it or something. But I don't think the Stude's ever going to get smalls. That ship has started to sail. It's not too far away yet, but I don't see it coming back to port.
Shane Mock had a comment. He enjoys enjoy showing up to races with Brandon and the team. Always a good time.
Yeah, Shane and Brendan, they're good people.
And Tracy Lynn has a comment. We'll do a better job getting photos of Chad next season. I mean, that's also a contest for the banquet. The most, what'd she call that? What'd she call that? New photo award. Is it photogenic? Not photogenic.
Yeah.
Was it most I forget the title of that.
She'll chime in here, but
that's what so Tracy, I can give you a heads up now. If we make it to one of the heads up races and Mike Cooper's there and we win, that's the photo you need to catch of Chad. Because for some reason, whether it be me red lighting or me sleeping on the tree, we cannot beat Mike Cooper at Arc City.
Yeah.
So when we do, Chad will be ecstatic. He will be very photogenic at that point. I promise.
There you go.
Up and down. That's awesome. All right. Well, Gary, do you have anything else to add?
I don't. The stuff I had written down, we got it.
Very good. Yeah,
lots of good information.
An hour and a half here. I don't have anything either. We'll just kind of hand it over to you, Brandon, for the last sign off here. Anything else you'd like to say or think or?
No, not really. I'd like to thank all the people that follow me, support me, have all the kind words. Everybody that called and texted me, checked on me after the accident. And all the fellow racers. And I mean, they fall into the same category as the people texting and calling. I mean, there was so many texts and calls, and even the people that were at the track after it happened, and they heard I was okay, but they still come up and made sure I was okay and shook my hand and gave me a hug. I appreciate all you guys. Everybody that supports us and comes to the races and loves seeing what I do. I do it for me, but doing it for you guys too. So I'm glad you enjoy it. There you go. And hopefully me and Chad knock this thing out of the park. Nobody ever said we were smart, but we're definitely not scared of work. And I think it's more work than I realize. Chad knows of the work that it is. So I mean, I know we're good. I'm gonna get my part done on the body. Luckily, we take usually the day before Christmas. It just depends on where Christmas falls, but we take a week off for Christmas and don't go back to work until the 2nd. Okay. So I have lots of race car time available because fortunately, we didn't plan a Christmas vacation this year. So since I'll be home, it will enable me to hopefully get a lot of progress done on the rebuild.
Nice.
Cool.
I'm excited to see it out. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of you. I'm a fan of the car. I think what you do is awesome. Just continue to follow. I think it's great.
Will do.
Your dad says, good show, guys. Thank you, JR.
Yeah. Thanks for good support.
Thanks for hanging with us, JR.
I wouldn't be doing it without that man right there.
There you go.
You bet. You got any, I'm just going to put you on the spot right here. You got anything you want to say to JR?
I love you, Pops. That's it.
Right, good. That's good.
And I'm faster.
That's great. All right.
I don't think that'll be for long though. No. Once him and Palmer start getting that old Chevelle out some more and really putting some laps on it, Dad's gonna be burning my doors down.
Sure. He's gonna be throwing taters on the big end,
Who knows?
Here's Raymond Kirk, badass racing team that takes the time to greet the little ones. Made a great impression on my grandson.
Nice.
That's cool.
That's real cool. Good job, Brandon.
Yeah, his grandson's he really enjoyed the races. He was at Ozark.
Right on.
Cool.
Right on.
No, and I try to, and it's funny because I'm actually, out on the other side of race car. I'm pretty negative minded and I don't know what to call it, but when it comes to race car, it's my happy place. And I try to be the best version of me that I could possibly be, and race car brings that out of me. And I don't know, it's crazy that even when all the after the wreck, I got out of the car. Once I got out and I got my suit off, when I did the first walk around the car, the first thing I did was grab the injector and pulled on it to see if it was loose, and it didn't move a fucking smidge. And I was ecstatic. I was like, I'm happy. I'm happy. The motor didn't get touched. We're good. I'm good. I'm happy.
Good.
I found the good in it to be happy about, and I didn't sit there and punk. I mean, it doesn't do any good to be upset and down and out, because it doesn't get you anywhere. You just gotta move on and move forward.
Pick up the pieces.
There you go.
Luckily, I got between, my dad is gonna help me out a lot in rebuilding this deal, and Chad. If it wasn't for those two, I probably wouldn't be rebuilding it. I mean, time, effort, and money, and you can't buy time.
No.
But the effort part, I know me and Chad can do. And I got a little bit of money, but it's going to take a little bit more money than what I got to fix it.
Sure.
So now Dad's going to have to put me on a payment plan.
Well, Christmas is coming up. Just,
Yeah. There you go.
That's right. And you got merch to sell at your trailer at the races, right?
Oh yeah.
Yep. So everybody, go buy merch that helps fund that stuff.
And I will probably be giving away, just so everybody knows, I'll probably be, I don't know what I'm going to do with the pieces and parts. I mean, they're not going to get auctioned or sold or any of that silly shit. But I will probably end up, maybe just cutting it into carryable pieces, I guess, and giving it away to kids. And I'll probably give it away to kids, but if there's an adult that just has a really big heart on or something to want, half the fender or something, then they probably have to pay for it. But because ultimately I'd like to give it to kids. If you want your kid to come and grab it so you can hang it up in your garage, that's one thing. But I'll probably try to take a few pieces of it with me to the races. I mean, obviously I can't take it all with me to every race or any race, but I'll try to take what I can and give it away to people.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And buy some merch that helps.
It definitely helps.
It helps the racers.
But if you plan on buying the merch, talk to my wife. Don't ask me. Ask my wife.
You'll just give it to him, right?
Yeah. Remember, I got right here.
See Brandon's wife.
There's something about for me, I mean, yes, I mean, I'm on the other side too. I mean, I go and buy t-shirts. I pay to get into a race, and then I'll go buy t-shirts. But there's just something about going to a racetrack and seeing your car on everybody's back. It's just it's cool,
Yeah.
And if I'm able to, if I give 2 or 3 shirts away at a time or a weekend or something, it might be to a family that now they get to go spend that $20 or however much shirts are. I can't even keep track. I think they're $20. They get to go spend $20 at the concession stand. You know what? That helps the track. That helps keep the track going. I mean, it's a vicious circle, and I try to see all sides of it at all times. It just doesn't always work out that way.
Yeah.
I know.
Cool.
All right. Well, I think it's a good time to wrap it up, unless you got anything else.
No, I'm good.
Really appreciate you coming on and talking to us. Just to talk to the group real quick that's still on and who follows Gary and I. When we were at PRI, we did contact a few more people. So, and they're going to come on the show next. And so here in the next week or so, we'll put that out there, that news out there, and just continue to like us, subscribe on Facebook and YouTube. That's all I got. Gary, you got anything else?
I don't. Thanks for your time, Brandon. It's fun, cool to learn some stuff about you and your past and your racing and stuff. It's cool to learn that stuff.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys having me.
Really appreciate your time and your dad, everything your dad does for the racing community. Thanks, JR.
Yeah, really appreciate that. Thank you. All
right.
All right. Good one.
Later, guys.
See you, Brandon. Good night. Cool, Rodney.
All right.
Since we talked about it for a second, I'll just
There you
roll
go.
this. Their
Yeah.
YouTube channel, Heads Up Racing, Gary and Hot Rod Podcast.
Let's go there and hit the like button. We're putting new videos out every day and pictures. We're going to talk about a couple of things that we were able to lock in at PRI. We met up with a few racers. Most people, everybody already knows, but we were able to talk to them one-on-one, and they'd love to come on here and just talk about what they got going on and their racing program. So we're excited the next 4 or 5 weeks for sure.
Yep. Get some time and scheduling worked out with everybody's holiday schedule and this and that. And we got I think we got some pretty fun people lined up to chit chat with. That'll give us their time. It'll be cool.
Yes. All
Yep.
right.
And I'm still tired from PRI.
Tired and dehydrated.
So I wasn't laughing at Brandon when he was talking. Did you catch Tiffany ducking down behind her?
There was a couple of walk-bys, the flash I saw.
She went by to go to the back, but she ducked down.
Yeah.
And like her back was like.
Yeah, like a little duck waddling.
And then she come back and I started laughing. She goes, "Can you see me?" I was like, "Yes, I can see your back cruising in the back there." And then it was her bag was doom, 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 doom. So man, I just couldn't help but laugh. It was kind of funny. Over here it was anyway. I don't know what you guys saw, but I thought it was funny.
It was just a little, with the way the picture's set up, it's just little blips, you know what I mean? You knew something was going on, but couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, when you watch it back tomorrow or whenever, you'll see that and you're like, oh, okay, there it is. It's there. That was funny.
All right.
Yep. Cool. We don't have any other little things we need to pop up. I think we're good.
No, I think that was it. It was a great show. I was glad Brandon came on. We kind of prepped with him earlier and talked about a couple of things. He's done these podcasts before, so he did a great job on it. And he said anything's open to talk about, and just super excited. He's getting the car ready again and excited to see that back out. And, now we learned a little bit about it too, where he's going to put a 3-speed in it and also like lose a little weight. So that's good stuff.
Couldn't imagine the work it would take to rebuild something like that. Woo.
Oh, I know,
man. Hit the comment here. Mrs. Harper, she says, "What did you think of your trip to PRI, Rodney?"
Oh my goodness, I'll go first. I mean, for me, that was my first time, so it was very overwhelming. I haven't felt that excited for a long time as far as doing a new thing. I think I was a kid in a candy store there. We got all, our passes and everything. We were ready to walk in, and then, as soon as you walked through the door, it was like, where do I go first? It was so overwhelming. And, throughout the day, it was like we were the third hour in, and it was like we were still in the first room. We were in the green room, I think it's called, and my feet were starting to hurt a little bit as well. But man, just myself, I had a list about 8 people that I wanted to find. I spent more money than I thought I was going to, but they got good deals out there, and it's hard to pass up. You get the show price, and I want to, something I wanted anyway. So I went ahead and pulled the trigger on a couple of things for myself. And, but, I guess I bought myself some Christmas presents, but, I was very lucky, to be honest with you, to have Gary and Gavin to help me go through this, because it's very overwhelming. And it's just
that's exactly what Mrs. Harper says here.
And you have to work through and take it in sections, or I was lost one time. I was just following him. I was thinking we were still in the green building, but I guess we were in the other building. and then we went and saw the trailers and that sort of thing on the football field. And that was awesome as well. The atmosphere is great. The little after party upstairs on the football field, with all the drinks and food, and had a great time. Just a lot of good energy. The people there were friendly, just, going out to dinner. I mean, the place was packed every time we went to dinner or got ice cream or just whatever. But I'm going again. I'm hooked, you know, and I was able to go ahead.
And it took more than the first trip for us to get that thing navigated to. It took a few trips to figure out, you know, starting this corner, work this way. It's this building, and then the other building is set up like this. Machinery row splits the two, and you kind of it's a navigation deal.
Oh,
It took a couple years to get it lined out.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I see the question: did you find the WDRA rod? And we did. We found it.
We did.
I took a picture of it. I tried to load it on the WDRA Facebook, but it didn't.
It was in the Renegade booth, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was in the Renegade booth.
Renegade. Yep.
And
and WDRA wanted pictures of the rod, but you couldn't post the picture.
You couldn't upload it,
but not a picture.
Yeah. So. And to spin off that too, we ran into John again and talked to him and you know, locked in a date and stuff for him to come on. And that was awesome. He talked to us, you know, we were texting back and forth. We kind of got a little text chat going and got some, you know, some memes going back and forth, making fun of some stuff. But yeah, it was a good time. And, you know, he remembered us and everything. And he was, of course, working the room as well. Yeah, it's definitely a good time. And, you know, what's nice is I'll talk real quick about Tristan. You know, I bought a Precision from Tristan, Precision Turbo from Tristan, like in 2016 or something. And he moved over to Motion Raceworks, and I was ordering some parts there. And he actually remembered my voice. He's like, "Hey, did you ever buy a turbo from?" You know, I'm like, "Yeah." And now he's back with Harry with that new turbo setup and everything. And so we actually met at the booth there and got to like actually see him, shake his hand, you know, and that sort of thing. Yeah, put a face to it. And then day two, we met Devin. We ran into Devin.
Yeah.
Got to talk to him for about 15, 20 minutes. You know, we've been working with Devin Vanderhoff at HCR for a couple of years now, helping us with the Holly. And it was just so funny because Tanner had one of his shirts on. And so, like, "Hey, nice shirt." Well, I recognized his voice from all the videos. Like, working, like, there's Devin. Like,
there he is.
"Man, dude, finally nice to meet you. Thanks for all the help," and that sort of thing. But yeah, no, it was very good, and I definitely want to go back. I hope Gavin's already got the rooms rented. Yeah, I try to get Rod's autograph. That's a little running joke because they're giving me a hard time all weekend.
Tried to get Rod's autograph.
Yeah, well, so that's pretty funny.
It's gonna load Sharpies up next time too.
Yeah, I guess so. I didn't have enough, you know. So
bring your own Sharpie, Gavin.
That's it. You got to bring your own Sharpie and a picture, apparently.
I'll roll back here to Mark Westmoreland. He says, "Absolutely appreciate you guys. Thank you for doing this for our sport." Thanks, Mark. Thanks for the kind words. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. Yeah, we're having fun, and we're seeing where it goes. You know, Gary and I were talking about it, you know, kind of waiting at the airport. You know, it just kind of keeps going in this direction. This whole podcast thing we're doing, it started off as something and it's rolling into another thing. And, you know, we're just keeping the doors open to see how it plays out. But yeah, so it's going out real good. And excited for the next 4 or 5 weeks. We try not to get too ahead of it, you know what I mean, to see who wants to come on or who we can get to come on. But you know, we reached out to Brandon and he's like, "Oh yeah, I know who you guys are. I'll definitely come on," you know. So, worked out. So and same with the people we got coming next too. And I think everybody's going to enjoy it.
1, 2, 3, 4. I got the you know the names that we hit, and it's 4 and then 5/6 as a 5/6 combo, I believe will happen. So we'll keep that under wraps until that stuff gets the time gets navigated and solidified.
And we're getting good feedback, and what we're trying to do too is like not only talk to the racers, but you know, like the technical side of it, you know, like Harper with the racetrack or John O'Neill. Yeah, Marty. We got more promoters upcoming, and you know, and then racers as well. We want to kind of mix it up, so keep the channel going and that sort of thing.
And with the feedback, like these, you know, they get into an hour long, hour 15, hour whatever. It's easy to get into the 2 hour range. So feedback we got from John O'Neill, I had listened to a chunk of a podcast that he was in with some bracket race podcast guys out of Canada. They're specific to bracket racing, kind of like we're specific to small tire. But they brought him in, and he had like I'd say they give him probably a 20 to 30 minute window. He talked about the WDRA, and then that was it. So we talked about that just a little bit when we saw John, and that came up, that he had such a small window of talk. And he also watched our video with Harper for the second video of Harper. He listened to it or watched it. He liked the whole thing. He liked the length of it where you can put out some information. And we told him your 20, 30 minute window isn't going to happen with us. You get as long as you need. Whatever you want to put out, as long as you need, you'll have it. So he's going to be a great guest to have coming soon.
Yeah, we're excited for that. And I want to brag on Gary for a second, because while we were there at the PRI, Drag Illustrated put out a article about Marty and his new converter. And so, we did about a 2-hour interview for Marty, but there was a window about 6 minutes where talking about the new titanium converter with power pump and everything with Steve Morris. And so Gary had clipped that and into a 6-minute separate video. And so he loaded that onto that article, and it took off and was getting views as well. So that was a great in there. Yeah. Good job.
Put that stuff out there. Heck yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate that.
Jim, that's my buddy Jim from Salina. You've met Jim at the track. Yep. Yeah. Love your guys' show.
Yeah.
Mrs. Harper says John is a good interview. He's going to be great. It's going to be real good with John.
Right.
We're going to let him have everything he needs.
Yeah.
Gavin says you guys have some exciting stuff coming up. Can't wait. Yep.
Oh, yeah. You're right. He's there with us, so he knows what's going on. That's fine.
Yeah, he was there.
Yeah.
He's seen it all. Mrs. Harper says, glad you had a good time and had a good guide. Yeah, we had a good time. That was my seventh trip, Gavin's 6th trip. Tanner's first trip too. He had a great time.
Yeah.
Yep. Tanner had a good time. It was fun going with you guys and hanging out.
Oh yeah. Lots of laughs.
The lady at the motel that runs the bar there in the evening, she remembers us year after year. She knows what drinks we drink.
I don't know if everybody knows this reference, but when Gary and Gavin walked in, it was like Norm with Cheers. Every year, just like, that lady.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
back.
We're
home. We're back.
It's like, holy cow.
Has the drinks ready. And good to go.
Yeah, definitely.
Did you do anything cool at PRI? You got something later for that?
I mean, I put it out there on Facebook. I was having some meetings and doing some talking with some people, and just everything kind of worked out as far as having, a great year last year. And so, I'm always pushing products, and, you're selling yourself. And so I was able to kind of announce things I was working on. So, was able to partner with Mel Hamilton Racing, working with Nick Roberts and Nick Ballman and Phil Nightingale. And so we were able to talk through some things, and they were able to help me in my program. And I'm super excited for that. And then also, of course, I think everybody knows the relationship I have with Marty, but, we were able to, Marty's always been helping me and that sort of thing, but it's just kind of make it more official. And so I'm super excited to work with Marty, and he's got a couple of things dialed in. We actually, I think everybody saw before we took off, he, got me a converter ready to go. And so he thinks that, it'll help my program. And he made a couple of comments. I showed him my graphs and showed him my curves, and he thinks there's some room there. And so I'm excited to see what it'll do. That's for sure. But so it's definitely a shout out to all the team at Mel Hamilton Racing, and thank you for everything that it's going to be a great year. And same with Marty Chance at Neil Chance Racing converters, because I'm excited. I hope what he says is right. So we'll see. But he definitely sees where there's some gain, not only in the converter, what he sees where he tears it apart, but also on the graph. So
Cool.
I'm excited for that. So I appreciate that. And we'll just keep doing that. And to be honest with you, back to the Mel Hamilton thing, I guess like a big thing is going to be a different tire for me. So we'll see how it plays out. So
very good.
Yep.
Cool stuff.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, our comments are pretty quiet over here.
All right.
Yep.
Well, we'll call it a night then. Appreciate you, Gary. Did a great job tonight.
Yep, you did too. Thanks for your box you're in. I guess it's over there. I don't know where you're at. You're over there, but you might be over there. But
high five.
Yep. There, that covers it both. Boom.
There you
Bam.
go. Wonder Twins activate.
All right. I got to work 5 days this week. Man, 5 whole days. I haven't worked a Friday for, I don't even know how long it's been since I worked a Friday, but
yeah,
I'm going to work 5 days this week, and then I'm off for 2 weeks.
Right on.
For the holidays.
Right
so,
yeah.
Yep.
Well, we plan on coming back this Sunday. So we'll put out here in a couple of days.
Sunday the 17th.
Yeah.
Yep.
We got an interview lined up, and we'll put that out in a couple of days. Sunday
the 17th. And then the next one will be Saturday the 23rd, because the 24th is Christmas Eve. So we're going to bump it to Saturday night, and we'll tell who that is later on also.
Sounds good.
So as soon as we figure out the navigation of the 17th, we'll get it out.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right, Gary.
All right. We shut her down.
All right. Have a good night.
All right. You too. See you, Rod.